Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and today I want to talk about the new seasonal mechanic here in the Overrealm season, the Overrealm mechanic. And this is pretty much a like dungeon within your dungeon type of mechanic where you'll be able to go down randomly deeper into the dungeon. But whether or not you proceed from floor 1 to floor 2 pretty much relies on the fact that you've unlocked it on your passive tree and that you get lucky and you unlock it. You're not always going to go down in floors. And if you talk to this NPC in town, Key, you can go and deal with your prisms. You can also do this in your inventory, or you can go and see your like passive tree for the Overrealm. I kind of want to go through this real quick. Some people are like, do you get enough points for the entire thing? What are the good points? What are the bad points? So the first thing I want to recommend is basically, the first thing you get is basically Hands of Retrieval. But before we talk about this, I just want to point out real quick in Overrealm, it's going to inherit the time arc bonuses, the resonance bonuses, some compasses, and some talent bonuses for the stage that it belongs to. However, only the Overrealm pets will do anything in the Overrealm. So if you're using any other pack spirit besides the Overrealm pack spirits, it's not giving you any bonuses. In terms of the loot pets, your battle pets obviously still work. And so this is very important. Don't like use other pack spirits here. So the very first thing basically gives you Hands of Retrieval. After you leave the Overrealm, there'll be these hands you can interact with and they'll just poop out all of the loot that you left on the ground. If you picked up everything, you probably don't need to interact with this. But if you like missed something or you're worried you missed something, this is kind of a good way to pick up all the loot. The next thing is kind of like positive things you can find. So you pretty much have things to give you more time. This is pretty important if you actually want to full clear the zone. The Severed Wing gives you like movement speed, attack speed, and mobility skill cooldown. And so this is also pretty nice as well. A lot more unlikely to see. I think you get like 4 clocks or so when you have this. And then very rarely you can get Living Gun. This is like lightning from Nightmare, but kind of like really watered down. And it's still pretty good. Next up, we have the Returning Anchor. It pretty much allows you to teleport back to a place. And typically this is going to it's going to spawn wherever you went down in the dungeon. And so if you like are on like the middle of a loop and you start in the middle, you want to go down one side, you can teleport instantaneously back. You can set a keybind for this by going Control Settings, scroll all the way down, Overrealm Teleportation will send you to the anchor, and then Overrealm Skip ends the Overrealm like meter, like takes you down to the next floor or back to the surface depending on your RNG. And then Overrealm Anchor places the Overrealm Anchor once you can move it. So I have mine bound to V and N just because I have those spots open. And yeah, next up after this, you unlock the ability to go down to floor 2. If you don't have this, you can never go down to floor 2. And even then it's still RNG. It's not all the time. And there's nothing really special you can do seemingly to make yourself go down. Then after that, you have different negative-ish type of rewards you can pick here. These all basically add a twisted version of the Overrealm potential. And so like you can have additional enemies that are like falling out of the sky. These guys can actually do a lot of damage. You can have like enemies getting revived with additional loot. And then you can be like caged and by some enemies that you have to kill. And really like all of these are good to get eventually. However, if I had to pick one based off which one's the safest, it's hands down the Frenzy Revival. It's kind of like almost not even noticeable. Like the enemies just kind of come back, but that is totally fine. Like I don't really like this one because it creates like obstacles you kind of need to avoid. And then this one like locks you in a cage a little bit, which can be scary as well. You can tell when these are active because the whole area will be a different color. Like with the Frenzy Revival, it'll be very green. And that's how you know. Next up, we have probably one of the most important nodes, Hollow Bottle. This pretty much makes it so that there'll be special monsters sometimes that drop these bottled shadows. These are basically your huge loot multipliers in the map. Pretty much your goal is to either find these monsters. They're not always there, or you want to fill up your meter, and filling up your meter gives you one of these bottled shadows, which pretty much is a loot multiplier. It has like different things. So some of them will be like Flame Elementium or cards or something like that. And pretty much the whole like Overrealm will have a theme, and it'll be around one type of thing. And so typically it's either Flame Elementium and fuel basically, which can be flame sand as well. You can also have embers, you can have fluorescent memories, and there is like a rarity one as well. And so there might be one for prisms. I don't think that I've seen that, but you can tell exactly which one you're in, what type of theme, because there'll be a little tracker that like shows up around here on the map, and it'll have the like loot type symbol on there. And yeah, your bottle shadows will all like be ones that are in that same vein. The third floor here becomes unlocked by picking this one. And then next up, we kind of have like special loot events that can show up. So abnormally contained objects, floating skull can show up. And this is like basically a treasure goblin, which is pretty cool. It shows up, it has very high life, but when they're defeated, they drop rare rewards and they have a chance to revive. And at first I thought this was whatever, but then I noticed that when they revive, the symbol next to their name or their health bar like got a little bit fancier, and the first time it reses turns orange, and then I saw one that rezzed and turned red, and it dropped a whole ton of loot, including some very expensive priceless gloves, which hopefully somebody will have bought sometime soon. And so that just came off of one of these guys, and so I think that this is a pretty good one to take. I think really though all of these are good for loot and totally fine to take. This was like a hidden boss. I had this one time. This may be one of the ways to get the super expensive solid river. So kind of good to take. All of these are kind of rare to get. The next node here allows you to place your returning anchor wherever you want. I kind of recommend placing in the middle so that you can like teleport back. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then lastly, open doors. And then finally, making everything harder and getting a little bit more loot. So you have less lives, 2 less lives, and then 3 less lives, but you know, a little bit more additional quantity. And then you get monsters take less damage, and then even more less damage for a little more additional quantity, and then losing a little bit of time, and then, you know, getting more quantity. You can spec and unspec these for free whenever you want. You don't have to worry about it. There's not really like any super duper punishing part with that. But yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like on this part here. Let's actually show you what it looks like in the map. It's like time mark. Let's go back down to 8-0. So I was doing some of my guardians here. So let's go in here. This is Bing 2, the new character, Fireburst. I will probably be dropping a build guide for this. Right now I'm a little squishy, which is unfortunate. But I'm doing some, oh, there we go. We're doing some cube farming. And right now my resistances are super duper whacked out. I'm even having to use some fates in order to fix some of them. But that's something like I definitely think we're going to be able to solve sooner than later. And yeah, we have a lot of interesting things going on right now with our gear, which, you know, we're going to be making a lot of improvements in the next couple of days. So this is pretty much what the gate looks like. It's kind of annoying at the moment. Hopefully it's something they'll fix in the next couple of days, but it's kind of easy to walk past this. And if you have the voice lines on, the key will say something as you walk near it. But when it pops up, you can just interact with it. About 4 elites will pop out and you can just blow them up real quick. And you'll be able to open up the door. And the door will always open. Now, when you're in here, pretty much what the first thing I look for is I move and I look to see where there's kind of like these pulsing things on the minimap because I want to go towards them. So there's one right here. This one gives me more time. And ideally, I want to clear out all of the pulsing things. So I can tell like, oh, so this one's an extra vial right here, right? And so we see right away that now this says chance for non-legendary gear drop to become flame fuel. And then I have a chance for additional prisms to drop when flame fuel is dropped. And so 10% chance that this is like a 0.1% chance whenever I drop gear that's going to turn into kind of a prism indirectly. But I can tell from the symbol here that this is fuel. That's like, I think the best one for the most part. If I see embers or fluorescent memories, typically what I try to do is just go down immediately. You see the purple bar that's like right here. As that fills up, I can basically go, and that tells me when my meter is full for the for the vial. And so long as I have the vial, it's fine. And then once the time runs out, you'll either get a portal that has a purple eye, which means you're going down, or a blue eye, which means you're getting blue balled and you're going back to town, or you go back to the map. So once again, we go in, and now we're starting at the same spot that we just went down. And this is the green one. So this is the revival one. This is great for the video. Thank you very much, RNGs. And one thing important to note is I don't think you really need to pick up the loot here if you don't want to. Like, really the priority should just be on blasting. Don't feel like you have to pick up anything. Like, we'll see that loot later. And we're just trying to get as many of these little pulses found as we go, so we can get more time. Unfortunately, we're probably not even going to get another one here. And yeah, just ran out of time there. And we got the blue wall. So we go back into our map and we can see all the hands spawn up. I interact with it, and hey, look, there's that prism that I didn't pick up earlier. And that's pretty much the mechanic. Now, this is kind of not a great map to showcase this on, but let's say, for example, that we're on a map that is like maybe a little bit different shaped. And let's set this up. So on a map where you basically like have a long kind of map, I thought originally that you were going to either want to put your teleporter here or put your teleporter here and just kind of run through the whole thing in one big direction. And I kind of don't think that this is actually the best way to play it anymore, especially because there's very few maps that are actually one big rectangle. And what I found is that sometimes if you spawn here, most of the clocks will be over here or things that I want to check. And then if I spawn here, suddenly a lot of them are over here, which just kind of sucks. And so putting it in the middle just gives you a lot of flexibility and freedom. You can just always instantaneously teleport back, and you can like press the buttons to the left of the meter for like either placing your thing or teleporting if you don't want to keybind. But if I place here, basically like reduces the maximum distance I can be from anything. And then like I still like if I run all the way over to here and then I teleport instantaneously back and then run all the way to the other side, this is still the same length that I would have had either way. Like I'm not like backtracking at all, just instantaneously teleporting. And yeah, I think this is basically my preferred way to go about doing this. And yeah, I also, one of the things I do is if I don't get like a good card, and some of these can be like rainbow. So like if it's a rainbow fluorescent memory one, you can tell basically by the text, and it's like, it looks all rainbow when it pops up. That if it's not rainbow and it's like fluorescent memories or embers, I will just basically kill the minimum amount as possible until the vial is ready. And then I will immediately click the button on the far right side to end the run and then go either down or get out. And if I can go all the way down to floor 4, there's a chance that I can get some really good loot off of the boss, but that doesn't happen all that much. But if you're like clearing the whole map for embers, I don't think that's going to be very good. Also, a lot of people ask about if it's even worth doing. And I don't really think it's worth doing before time mark 8. And even in time mark 8, it's not super great. Like 8.1, I think is starting to get a little bit better. But I think that this is probably going to be a mechanic where it really shines in Profound. Hopefully, it does feel a little bit undertuned in terms of loot right now. But they do tend to get on top of this pretty quickly. Also for the pack spirit, I think it is pretty darn strong, especially because it is the only pack spirit that works in the area. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Hopefully this video helps you out. We'll see you guys sometime soon. And thanks for coming by the stream.